what is a great army to start off with as a beginner when it comes to playing 40k or AOS or Age of Sigmar? And he did kind of add to that. He's more looking at 40k.
Yeah, that's what I took.
But you know, we can kind of give suggestions for both. But I suppose mostly 40k. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are, Ben. My mind goes straight to the obvious.
Yeah.
But if you have other suggestions, that's fine.
No, there's a reason why they are the in every single starter box. Yeah. There is a reason why they just change the opponent for them each time.
Yeah, not only are they designed to be Games Workshop's like flagship kind of, you know, factions, so Stormcast, Space Marines, or Ultramarines usually.
Sigmarines and Space Marines.
Yes, exactly. But like you say, they're in starter sets, and that not only are they the flagship factions, but they're also almost like designed to be the flagship factions that people are almost meant to start with. Easy to paint, easy to build, collect, lots of variety, constant updates for both factions.
I mean, in terms of once you figure out your way of painting Space Marines or your way of painting Stormcast, you can paint the whole army. Yeah. You only have to figure out how to paint one, and your army's basically done.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those are the obvious answers. Did you give any thought to a non-obvious answer?
Not really, because, I mean, obviously I play Ultramarines anyway, so like that was my sort of main thing. And I basically more just jotted down a ton of reasons as to why I'd suggest that. The only other thing I was sort of thinking, not necessarily a specific faction, but just maybe like similar low model count armies to maybe Space Marines or Stormcast. Just because I would probably say Horde armies, I would find personally I would find harder to learn, and obviously you've got a lot more to move around whilst you're trying to learn the rules for a new game. There's a lot to take in anyway, and when you've got a lot of stuff you're having to move around and remember to do, I don't know if that would throw people off a bit, but I mean that's just me.
See, I gave it some thought, and I was trying to think in terms of, I mean, my standard question when I was working store is, okay, well, what kind of stuff are you interested in? What, you know, what's your favourite movie? That sort of stuff. You try to get an idea of what somebody's already interested in, because that will then lead. If they say, you know, my favourite movie is The Terminator, a ring, ding, 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 here we are, here's the Necrons. It's an obvious one. If their favourite movie is Aliens, again, it's an obvious answer. The favourite movie is Saving Private Ryan. Well, let me introduce you to the Astra Militari. Yeah. Well, it's called the Guard. But no, I'm thinking, generally, if I was trying to suggest an army that was almost as easy to paint and get started with as Space Marines, I think it would be Necrons. Yeah, because they are very much, you can rattle can them, you can spray, if you want to do the most basic paint job possible, rattle can them with whatever bolt gun's called now, lead belcher, rattle can them with lead belcher, dip them in some contrast of a colour. I mean, you want red metallics, dip them in, you know, Bile red or something. But they are genuinely one of the easiest ones to get a painted army on the tabletop, and they're also fairly forgiving playing style in terms of you get a lot of stuff, you know, hey, these guys are dead, but don't worry, they're coming back.
Yeah,
so
very easy.
You avoid that problem that can happen. I mean, this is something I used to encounter when you're running an intro game in the store. You don't want the person's models to die too quickly, because if they're all their experiences is I had a bunch of toys and then they died, they're not going to have a fun game. If it's I had a bunch of toys and they died, but so did my opponents, and it was awesome. And at the end of the day, it was just this amazing last stand clash between like a sergeant and, you know, a gene stealer or something. Then it doesn't matter. They've had fun. But yeah, in terms of I put my toys on the tabletop and you shoot a load of them, but that's okay because I get to put some of them back again. I think that as a beginner gives you a feeling of, okay, yeah, I'm not out overwhelmed in this. I'm not outdone. And their rule system are fairly straightforward once you get past. I mean, it's not like some armies, like Guard, for example, you've got orders, you've got all the different kind of morale upkeep stuff, Voxcasters. There's a lot of tricky stuff. You've got all the different flavours of tank. I would never have, as much as I like the Guard, I'd never suggest them as a starting army unless somebody absolutely, that was their jam, was mass infantry stuff.
That's it. But yeah, I agree. And again, fairly low model count for Necrons as well, so it's, you know, easy to kind of buy into and whatnot. And yeah, I think that's a good one actually.
I was trying to think of a comparable version for Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, I suppose you'd probably say Bone Reapers, something maybe like that. But I don't know.
I don't know anybody who's looked at the Bone Reaper army and gone, that's the army that gets me excited.
No, but Bone Reapers are can get a bit hoardy as well, really, so it's hard to say. But yeah, let us know in the comments as well, I suppose, if you've got any suggestions for for our friend who's
starting armies.
Yeah,
I did think Night Haunt because again, spray white, give them a wash.
Yeah,
but they're fairly fragile. Well, they're easy to build, but they're fairly fragile.
Yeah,
and I think for a beginner's army, you want something a little bit robust.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose because I mean, we might have another question at some point asked to do with more aiming at kids, and obviously if it's usually if you're a lot of people starting out, you want your kids to start out, and yeah, I can certainly see that's not so good for kids, but obviously something like Space Marine Stormcast, chunky models.
You could. I'm tempted to do a video of how much I might actually do this. How much can a Stormcast survive? Like we've got the big broad-shouldered ones that are now being replaced. Maybe I will do like a destruction test. Like, okay, what can I drop on the Stormcast and see what it survives? It's mine. Don't see it.
As soon as you said I've got an idea, I was like, I know where this is going.
Well, I was watching the Top Gear episode where they tried to destroy the Toyota Hilux, and I'm now thinking about I might just have to destroy a bunch of Stormcast.
I'm now picturing if you've seen has anybody seen the Simpsons movie where Homer's between like rock and hard place? You just need to put a model between rock and hard place and try out different models. Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking I've got a friend who's got a jackhammer. I bet a jackhammer would destroy a Stormcast fairly well. I'll give it some thought, but yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, back to the next question.
No, but I hope that helps you out, my friend. And I know that's probably fairly obvious, maybe, but if you're really clueless about the armies and factions, you're not so up to date knowledge wise with Warhammer at all, then there's your kind of suggestions, I suppose. Thanks for watching this clip. Please do like, comment, and subscribe to Morehammer here, and check out the full weekly Warhammer podcast that this clip came from right here. And as always, happy wargaming.